Hello everyone, Lily here, and today I want to talk about shotguns. For pretty much the game's whole existence, people have never been satisfied with shotguns and phantom forces. I really wanted to get a feel for what people are most dissatisfied with shotguns, so I asked you in a community post and you responded. The biggest area that stands out for what people are not happy with for the current shotguns clearly is the range that they have. But looking at the shotgun class as a whole, this really only seems to apply to two of the shotguns flat out, the KS-23M and the Stevens DB. As for the other shotguns, why are they lumped into the statement of all shotguns are broken? After all, in my community post I did ask about all shotguns, not just shotguns who have better capabilities at range. For the other shotguns in the category, I do feel like the KSG-12, Remington 870, DBV-12, AA-12, and SPAS-12 are all balanced when you compare them to one another. That aside, people have also mentioned slugs for these shotguns and how it makes them akin to, or even better than the current sniper rifles in the game. I gotta be honest, I don't really see this. When slugs are added to a shotgun, the muzzle velocity is increased, but it's already not very good to begin with at all. This is objectively worse than sniper rifles. The sniper rifle with the worst muzzle velocity is still way better than the best muzzle velocity with slugs for a shotgun. Sniper rifles are also just better suited for range in general with their statistics all around, so while slugs are an option for that, I think that people are overrating how good they are compared to sniper rifles. Now onto the two shotguns that I mentioned as being the sticking points for people. For the Stevens DB, I do feel torn on it a little bit. On one hand, I do feel that the balance works for the double barrel. With only 2 shots to fire and even just 1 on burst, this rifle is by default not the best suited for multiple enemies at close range, and as such, excels better at long range. That's the trade-off that you have. Combine that with a reload time that is not very quick at all on empty or not, the Stevens DB's balance makes for a shotgun that is definitely different than the rest and should be treated like such when talking about the shotguns category as a whole. On the other hand, I could understand the Stevens DB getting a slight nerf, but I question the necessity of it. Now for the KS-23M, the shotgun it seems very few people have no issues with. It's definitely great for range for a shotgun, and its drawbacks attempt to make up for that. It only has 4 shots to fire and a fire rate that is poor relative to the other shotguns, making it easy for the user to get punished in close range if they do miss their first shot or don't land it completely. And despite it being nerfed in the past, the KS-23M's balance for range is still not satisfying the community, and I understand that. The obvious move would be to make nerfs necessary to reduce the gun's effectiveness at range. The thing with the KS-23M though is that I feel it risks becoming irrelevant if it is made to be of similar suitability to the other shotguns at range. After all, when you consider its downsides, there are better options for other shotguns at close range without the same drawbacks. Nerfing the range completely would throw the shotgun into obscurity. This is where I think things could get interesting and go a couple of different ways. On the simple path, the KS-23M simply gets a nerf to its range capability. Maybe other shotguns and slugs get small tweaks, but that's really it. Maybe that would satisfy some people. But I don't think that's enough. The other, more complicated way is to just overhaul the shotgun category completely. In the past few years, there have been numerous buffs and nerfs to all of the shotguns, or even just individual shotguns themselves, but that is not enough. It just creates a cycle of dissatisfaction that eventually gets stale and is changed again and just continues over and over as they are buffed or nerfed or whatever. So here's what I propose. I think we can all agree that shotguns should be strong at close range for this game, and before you start typing about realism, I do not want to hear it. Game design comes before realism, and the developers follow that sentiment as well. I do not care about the range for shotguns in real life in regards to balancing weapons for this game. Changing the shotguns to excel for close range could work a few different ways in my opinion. What I suggest is keeping their strong damage for close range and creating a damage range with 2 drop-offs for medium and long range rather than just 1. It could look something like this. This is a concept that I came up with for the KSG. It is rough and it was made quickly. I didn't put a ton of consideration into the ranges or the damage, but this is just something that it could look like. I propose implementing a second drop-off for the range of shotguns. Keep them powerful in close range, but as they drop off to medium range, they don't hit as hard, and finally, when it drops off to long range, it is not an effective choice. I feel like this method would still allow certain shotguns like the Stevens DB and KS-23M to keep their effectiveness past close range, but not to the degree that it is currently. And as most maps feature a mix of combat, their effectiveness at medium range is still there, but limited. They won't be garbage, but they just won't be as viable. It might take 1 or 2, possibly even 3 more shots to kill at medium range for a shotgun. I also feel like doing this would promote a category like the SMGs, whose effectiveness in close range currently is kind of arguably beaten out by shotguns, and at medium to long ranges they're beat out by assault rifles or carbines or LMGs, just any other automatic weapon. So by doing this, I feel like the SMGs might find more of a better and stronger role when it comes to close and medium range. And at long range, under this proposed change, a player with a shotgun must lay down many shots in order to kill, not just 3 or 4. This means that using slugs is more valuable if someone wants to use shotguns at a longer range. I could also understand nerfing slugs to have some amount of RNG spread so that the attachment is not seen as more valuable than something like a sniper rifle in DMR, so that it just better defines the qualities and the roles for these categories in the game. This is not the only way to go about overhauling shotguns, but I do feel like it fulfills what people want as far as changes go, while still leaving room for shotguns to be buffed or nerfed in other ways. And this will work for more than just the short term. I don't know if this is possible to do in the game, but it doesn't feel too impractical in my opinion. But at the end of the day, shotguns do have to be overhauled in order for us to really get any substantial change and any substantial amount of satisfaction. So let me know what you think about having a double drop-off in damage over range for shotguns. It is a very extreme idea, but I feel like something extreme is maybe necessary. The trend of Stylus's development as far as different things in the game goes has been rather passive in some ways, where guns do not get super crazy changes, maps do not often get super crazy changes when it comes to revamps, and so maybe this is the time to do something big in the game. So do you feel like this is a good idea? If not, how would you tweak it? Be sure to let me know in the comments. That's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.